World's Cooldown.
Thank you very much, Trevor. Great cast on the day. Raz, I believe you did call it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy about it, but it was a close call. All right? It was too close for me.
That game itself was
close.
not that close. But the fact that they were a game from elimination, I mean, I'm happy for IG. I'm happy to have the defending world champion be able to get the ultimate revenge on Team Liquid for what happened at MSI semifinals, to beat them twice in group and knock them out of the tournament. But I'm also just really sad for Team Liquid and Double specifically to be 1 win away from quarterfinals 4 years in a row. It's pretty heartbreaking.
And realistic, you've got to be pretty upset for the entire organization, right? This team was put together for international success. They got a taste of it at MSI. They would have hoped for so much more on the world stage. And you saw members like Core JJ, Impact, you know, this is going to mean so much for their career. This is a career-defining moment going out in groups. Certainly not what the Liquid lineup would have hoped for.
Yeah.
But when you're drawn into a group that has Darm1, that has IG returning to form, it was always going to be so tough to make it out of this one.
Yeah, and I don't know how it would feel for the players, but just how close this really was for Team Liquid to get into the quarterfinals to begin with. It's always kind of something you would have to look back and think on, because very realistically, IG or Darm1 can win it all. And so if you get that kind of result, then you'd look back and say, well, we lost to the tournament favorites, or at least the people who eventually won the damn thing. So for Team Liquid, it sucks, but we saw some great games from them.
Yeah, and speaking of which, of course, that 6th game, a quick one, a banger, rookie solo kill into Roams in the top lane. And we had seen Impact in Aatrox versus Vladimir, and he was handling Nuguri, but TheShy is not Nuguri, and Rookie popped off.
And look, there is a simple recipe for IG to be able to win Worlds, and it looks something like this. You need Rookie to be the best mid laner in the league. In the competition, you need TheShy to be dominating people by 70 CS in a matchup that Nuguri was dying versus Impact, and then you need Ning, just moments of brilliance throughout this game to be able to take over the match.
And I just miss this IG, I really do, because for so long, we've seen them kind of transform based off necessity, with Rookie during the summer split playing just worsened by like proxy, with Leon coming in and them needing to play a slower game. This is them just dominating.
So this is also why TheShy brings Phase Rush on Vladimir, so you can press to your advantage and use kills to generate your gold. This fight right here, we're asking, where did all that damage come from? It's because he was a 13,000 gold Vladimir 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I mean, I feel like this IG lineup has so many questions in the summer that with a regular sports athlete, you would be able to write off due to very logical things. Rookie missed games and affected the team's morale. When you lose the best mid laner in the world, the team atmosphere is going to change and you're going to have to relearn how to play around him. They also went through a jungle change. At the end of the day, though, individual skill, class is forever. And what we've seen in this last day, in the clinch, their best players are willing to stake up, are willing to take the game into their own hands, and can win on the biggest stage.
And Rookie this game, it doesn't necessarily show up in the damage chart, 10.8k, but he's the one that really got TheShy going. The level 5 roam that burned Flash and got a kill in the top lane, you give that to a player like TheShy, he's never going to give that lead up.
And you have to respect the matchup with Aatrox versus Vladimir, but Aatrox had to respect the mid laner. With Rookie constantly roaming topside, there was one moment where he went up topside alongside Ning. It didn't turn into anything, but Aatrox no longer has control of the matchup, and that's the problem.
And I feel like these blowout games, we've just sung the praises of IG, right? I feel like these blowout games always have a turning point where they could have gone either way. I just think back to Smithy's gank in the bottom lane. If he had a flash towards Yellowstar, if that had been a more decisive setup, maybe they get something rolling. You know, we talk about weak side top laners and a little bit more respect. Maybe if TheShy isn't that far ahead. Because I do want to stress that I feel like in individual skill and kind of team environment, individual skill went to IG. I feel like team play was always going to be TL's way out of it. But when those gold leads start to balloon, it does impact the way that you can actually play those team fights. And on a different day, on a different time, we've seen this Liquid lineup actually take it to IG, and it just feels so bad that that wasn't today.
That's true. It's the way it went. Of course, they secured the last quarterfinal spot. Trevor said it on the cast. 3 Korean teams, all top seed. All 3 LEC teams, second seed. And the last 2 spots all going to the LPL as well. So we're down to a 3-region world championship. And kudos to the teams there from those spots who fought so hard. Special shout out to Fnatic for being the only team to drop an LPL team out of the tournament. That was, of course, impressive for them as well. So kind of your thoughts on what we've seen overall, even like a regional power ranking kind of idea. now seeing the group stage.
I just love the fact that throughout the entire year, there has been rampant discussions about LCK coming back and whether that was true or not. And this was just the outright affirmation of that. LCK, specifically Griffin, topped their group when G2 had already made that stance in MSI. SKT was already expected to do well in that group that they had there. And then you saw Damwon, once again, nailing down first seed. So across the board, LCK was #1.
Yeah, a lot of 5-1 records or 6-1 records. You know, pretty strong performances. Either way, for more on IG's win, let's check in with Laure and TheShy.
Thanks, guys. Laure here, joined by TheShy this time around, who just took the second seed in their group. I guess that it's no surprise for you that IG made it out of group, but are you happy about the way you did it?
네, 우선은 IG 그룹 스테이지에서 8강 가신 거 정말 축하드립니다. 하지만 경기 내적으로 정말 만족하시나요?
사실 지금까지 계속 롤드컵 경기를 하면서 좀 제 실력에 대한 자신감이 좀 없었고 내가 왜 이렇게 못하지 좀 더샤이는 이런 느낌이 아닌데 나 이런 생각 많이 했는데 마지막 판에 팀원들이 저한테 너는 너의 실력은 다른 게 없는데 너의 생각이 문제인 것 같다라는 말을 듣고 좀 정신을 차리고 했더니 좋은 결과가 나온 것 같아요.
So actually, during the Worlds run, I was feeling less confident. I was like, this is not the way I should play. This is not TheShy. However, my teammates told me that this is not your performance. It's about your mentality. So that kind of gave me strength, and I was able to go back to game.
And if you were to change something in your run and work on something for the later stages of the competition, what would it be?
그러면 다가오는 일정에서 그러면 개선해야 할 점이 있다면 무엇일까요?
제가 중국어가 좀 부족해서 팀원과 소통이 가끔 미스가 나는 경향이 있는데 그게 저의 가장 큰 문제점 같고 그거를 가장 우선적으로 고쳐야 될 것 같아요.
So maybe my Chinese, because I don't have enough Chinese skills, so maybe we have some lack of communication between my teammates, so that's my highest priority.
I hope you can work on this for quarterfinals, because now, from the looks of it, LCK has 3 first seed. Europe looks strong as well. So what do you think about the LPL's chances this year and your chances to have another championship title?
그럼 올해는 LCK가 정말 강해 보입니다. 세 팀 모두 1시드를 확보했고 유럽도 모두 8강에 진출하는 등 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있는데 그럼 LPL에 대한 생각은 어떠신지 그리고 IG가 또 한 번 우승할 확률이 얼마나 된다고 보시나요?
사실 1등으로 진출하면서 담원이 2시드가 되고 한국팀끼리 붙는 내전이 나오면 정말 재밌겠다라는 생각을 했는데 물론 그렇게 나오지 않았고 그냥 저희가 2등으로 된 거 8강에서 SKT 만나서 이기면 우승을 하고 싶고 지면은 그래도 강팀한테 졌으니까 아쉬운 마음으로 돌아가는 게 가장 저의 바람이에요.
So actually, if we could make it to the first seed and Daemun remain on the second, there could have been a Korean versus Korean team war. However, the thing did not go to our group this year. But well, I hope to meet SK Telecom in the quarters so that we can, if we take them down, I think we will be able to win. Or if we lose to them, actually it's also okay because we're losing to a very strong or favorite team.
Nice, and we'll see about that in the few minutes as the draw is soon ready. 감사합니다 for the interview, TheShy. Thank you very much, Isan, for the translation, and back to you guys.
I want to see that too. IG, SKT, TheShy is like, please, give me Faker.
What a player.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of TheShy. You know the best team, I want to play him right away.
That's the
They
championship
did that last
mentality.
year.
Oh, right.
And that's
That
how they
was
won
the
Rose with KT Rolster. Worked then.
It'll work now?
That's incredible.
Yes.
Beat the #1 LCK team. That's how they make the Worlds run. From second seed in groups, like it's writing itself, basically, at this point.
It's that championship mentality. He's basically saying if we can beat them, then 100% we have the chance to win it all. So I love that mentality, 100%.
It'd be a lot of fun. Either way, of course, we also saw Damwon. On the day, they went undefeated. That one against IG was a nail-biter. That was close. That was a battle, as it turns out, for first seed. But they secured the top spot out of Group D. IG went 2-1. Damwon 3-0. Another LCK team at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a different kind of LCK team, in my opinion, because we saw so many individual performances from Damwon Gaming today. A region that is normally defined by their teamwork, their ability to set up the map, has been completely shifted, in my opinion, by players like Showmaker as well as Nuguri. And Canyon's performance in those matchups was just phenomenal to watch. I think this is a team that, once again, much in the same vein as IG, if the individual pieces show up, they could go the whole way as well.
And I will always remember that Baron fight versus Invictus Gaming because that really showcases what is possible for Damwon. In moments in which they have to claw back, especially in the best of 5 in quarterfinals, those are the type of plays you have to look at to know your enemy.
Yeah, of course, quick farewell to Team Liquid and AHQ. The draw is coming up very, very soon. By the way, stay tuned for that. When that happens, of course, we're going to toss over to them. But final thoughts on Team Liquid and AHQ.
I think it's another very disappointing year for Team Liquid. We hit it at the start, excuse me, of this block. But for Doublelift to be 3 wins 4 years in a row, you need 4 wins to get out of groups. That's what we saw this year. Every team that advanced ended up having 4 or more wins. So just super close once again.
Yeah, and my commiserations to AHQ. 0-6, 3 teams actually in the group stage managed to go 0-6 this time around, but we are ready to find ourselves the quarterfinal matchups. Let's have a quick shot for the draw.
The 2019 League of Legends World Championship group stage is now complete. Half of the teams that took to this stage have been eliminated, and 8 teams now remain. They are 1 step closer to lifting the Summoners Cup, and we're about to draw their quarterfinal matchups, see who will be moving on and working their way towards Paris. Before we do that, I would like to welcome to the stage Origin's Support 2015 World Championship semi-finalist, 2017 MSI finalists. It's Origin's Mithy. As Mithy takes to the stage, teams will be placed into 2 respective pools. The winners of each group will be placed into Pool 1, while the runners-up will be placed into Pool 2. We will draw all Pool 1 teams into the bracket and then find their respective matchups. The only caveat being that teams from the same group cannot face off against teams from the same group with which they competed, or be on the same side of the bracket. In the event that a draw is invalid, we will bump the team to the next valid and appropriate draw. Berlin and viewers around the world, please put your hands together and help me invite representatives of your 8 quarter finalists. From Griffin, Tarzan, G2 Esports, Caps, Fun Plus Phoenix, Tian, Splice, Xerxes, SK Telecom T1 Faker, Fnatic Reckless, Dam1 Gaming Showmaker, and Invictus Gaming's Rookie. It's about time to start the draw. Mithy, please mix up the teams and draw the first Pool 1 squad. It is Dam1 Gaming. And they slot into the top left corner of the bracket. Mithy, please draw the next team. SK Telecom T1. And they will be slotted into the bottom left corner. Mithy, please draw the next team. It is Griffin. Griffin find themselves in the top right-hand corner of the bracket. And there's 1 team left to draw. Mithy, please do the honors. And it is Fun Plus Phoenix, who will slot into the bottom right corner. Mithy, please reposition to Pool 2, and as a reminder, teams from the same group cannot face one another, nor be drawn onto the same side of the brackets. Mithy, please mix them up and draw the first Pool 2 seed. It is Invictus Gaming. And they will slot into the top right corner against Griffin. Mithy, please draw the next Pool 2 team. It is Fnatic. They will be slotted into the bottom right corner against Fun plus Phoenix. Mithy, please draw the next team. It is G2 Esports. They will be slotted into the top left corner against Damn1 Gaming. And for the last time in the quarterfinal draw, Mithy, please take the final team. It is Splice. They will find themselves in the bottom left corner, taking on SK Telecom T1. This concludes the 2019 World Championship quarterfinal draw. Thank you to our participants, thank you to our fans, and thank you to Mithy.
Welcome back to World's Cooldown. There's the quarterfinal draws. My first gut check, I like this bracket. Everyone else?
It's great. It's really funny. The first thing for me is that Fnatic would possibly have to go through 3 LPL teams to make it to the finals, which is hilarious to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, the two of them, right?
I like your confidence in IG.
RNG, FPX, IG.
Right. Yeah. RNG already taken care of.
Okay, yeah. I'm pretty happy with this draw overall, right? I thought Mithy was about half a second away from getting flamed to eternity because he was close to drawing the G2 versus SKT. That was possible, but overall, I like these groups.
So Jat and I play a lot of games backstage where we attribute arbitrary points to teams, try and power rank them, and try and come up with different ways to be able to run, different tournaments.
Okay.
And I think that if we were going to do this, this is nearly as close to performance top to bottom that I have seen. The one exception I will give is maybe the Damn1 Gaming versus G2, because I think that Damn1 today would have earned a couple more points to me. But I'm very intrigued that this seems to be pretty balanced in the terms of power differences, like, SKT playing against Splice. And I think that across the board, that has been reflected.
I mean, I got to say.
I think so. I'm going to sign numbers later and make a tweet about it.
Yeah. I think that'll be fun.
One thing that helps, right, is LCK all getting #1 seed, LEC all getting #2 seed, just because it lets you divvy up those teams. You don't have a region-on-region kill until semis, right? The Korean teams all spread out, the European teams all spread out.
Yeah.
I am a little sad that the LPL sadly has both their squads on the same side. There's no chance for the LPL final in case they really deserved it.
I mean, it was possible to get 3 LCK LEC quarters and 1 LPL quarter. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
And the thing is, if they really deserved it, one of them would have got first seed, right? And we would have potentially avoided a lot of this mess. So I think that this is a very fair way to bracket up teams. I think when you have a look at kind of the caliber of opponent you're going to have to go through. Immediately, you think G2 and SKT, maybe the 2 remaining Titans in a lot of people's eyes are favorites, being seated on the same side of the bracket, makes for a very potent semifinal. And Griffin kind of get the dream, because they get multiple practices at best of 5s if they are good enough before they either have to face an old nemesis or a team that can beat SKT in a best of 5.
Yeah, I think pound for pound, all of these quarterfinals make for very exciting either stylistic matchups or just great best of 5s. Like we already talked about, Griffin versus IG, I think will go the distance. And it's fun stylistically because IG is so fiery, while Griffin have showcased to be a lot more of a slower pace, much more smarter team. This is hilarious, actually.
Not only that, I think just the strength that Griffin holds in the jungle against what IG has shown as being slight confusion. Like, this is going to be the gut check for Ning. Like, are you back in Worlds caliber form if you can take down Tarzan? I think that would actually do a lot to be able to stake IG's claim as, once again, a legitimate contender.
So real quick, I've got the schedule on Pop. I got to read those out for you. Saturday's first match is Griffin versus IG.
Wow.
That is followed by Fun Plus versus Fnatic. That's going to be the day one. Sunday, headlines with SKT versus Splice, followed up by Damwon Gaming versus G2. So you got the region spread out. This is the run of show.
You asked me earlier, like, who do I think is the strongest region now? Based on Worlds so far, the LCK is 16-3 as their win-loss and has 3 Pool 1 seeds. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check. That's close to, if not, the best group stage they've ever had.
Yeah.
Now, LEC has also had a historic year by getting all 3 teams out as the 2-side seed and going at 13-7. But what we're going to see at these quarterfinals, like, this will be close to definitive, like as close as we get to definitive best region before we've seen the World Championship. How many LCK teams get through? The number 3 LCK team in Damwon Gaming versus G2. It's not free for them to get through by any means.
Nope.
And I think that the LEC teams should be happy about the draw that they had. I think the only ones, obviously, is Splice being sent as sacrificial lambs, you'd have to say. Like, that's how I would view it with how well SKT are playing. But I've already, doubting Splice seems to be the worst thing you can do.
You're just giving them more power, right?
I know, right? They're just going to be coming out like Hulks at this point. But, like, G2 versus Damwon, I think G2, even Jankos in his interview said he wanted to play up against a Group D team. They got just that. And FPX versus Fnatic, Fnatic has to be happy about that.
And I think the real games start now, because Best of 1 League of Legends has always been different to Best of 5 League of Legends.
Sure.
We have champions that are sitting on permaban status, just because in a Best of 1, you don't want to lose to an early game Pantheon or something like that. But I feel like a lot of these teams do have the depth and flexibilities, and not necessarily in the number 1 seeds that we've seen come out of these groups. I think that there will be some teams that will start to roll the dice in some of their draft options. It gives you much more flexibility. A lot more of it is on the coaching staff now behind the scenes to be able to come together with a plan that will be able to take down some of these titans.
And it's also when you start to pull out all the stops, when you're suddenly against teams that you really, really, really must win against, or your tournament life is over. I think back to when Zyra and then suddenly Misfortune Support showed up in the, I think, 2016 World Championship that the Korean teams knew existed, but no one else did. And then Rock's new MF support existed, but no one else did. And that's when you're like, hey, by the way, I've got the second level read on the meta. Let me show you how it's broken.
Last year, we didn't see Victor top until quarterfinals.
Yep.
We've already seen 96 unique champion picks, and we just finished group stage.
Yes.
So with how close some of these matchups are, the thing that decides whether or not you get to stay in semifinals or have a chance at the title, which a lot of these teams do, which is another unique thing about the draw this year. I mean, past years we'd say there's these 2 teams, and if they're on the same side of the bracket, everyone's disappointed. And even though 2 of the favorites, SKT and G2, are on the same side of the bracket, we're still like, but Griffin has looked great, IG's been good, Fnatic and Fun Plus Phoenix, even though they had a few stumbles in group stage, have had really high moments. There's so much that's still to be played.
Yeah, a lot to look at. I mean, Griffin, their stock to me rose a whole lot, and I'm so conflicted on Griffin because their last year and a half since joining the LCK has been absurdly strong, never finishing below a silver medal in regular season or playoffs. Now, the problem is they have won a single best of 5 in their history as an LCK team, and they got to do it in a week.
But the problem is, and I always say this about Griffin, their only fatal flaw that people can point at is the fact they can't beat SKT in best of 5s. Well, guess what? Lots of people can't beat the SKT in best of 5s.
They had a gauntlet match last year in 2018. Well, they lost to KT, who was nearly a world champion, and then they lost to Genji in the regional qualifier. So 4 of their best of 5 losses have been against world champions, and now they have to place last year's world champion.
But as a rookie team, I can be like, okay, that's nerves. Maybe they were better, but they got nervous. This time around, SKT coming into this world was majority of people's front runner along with G2. That team is so insanely good right now. Yeah. And the fact that that is a slight against Griffin, it honestly blows my mind.
And I don't think, and this is what always has to be proved in a best of 5, I felt like they got over a lot of their nerves in the last 2 games that they had in their group stage when they had to go up against G2. I'm just saying, look, I have a bad track record when it comes to drinking teams, and it may work out well for me. But for Griffin, they've looked better. They looked more confident. Tarzan looks like a completely different jungler, a jungler that you could put number 1 or number 2 on your top 20 list of players. So it's pretty crazy how well they have actually evolved as a team.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we haven't spoken about it much, but my match of the quarterfinals is actually going to be FunPlus versus Fnatic, because how both of those teams kind of ramped up. And you kind of have two teams that are also not subscribing very heavily to tournament meta, right? And I think that this matchup in particular is going to very much test Fnatic, because when you have a look at how Doinby wants to play around grouping with his team, around generating fights, around annoying the absolute crap out of you, it's going to be very hard for a rookie like Nemesis to be able to deal with. However, Fnatic mid lane rookies have a very good track record of showing up when it counts, and I think that this best of 5 could really cement the legacy of what Fnatic is as one of those clutch teams coming up against, Seed 1 from the LPL.
And my question is, like, who's annoying who? Because, like, it's really a galaxy brain of drafting at this point. Because if it's going to be a test of FPX or Fnatic, it's a test of drafting and of the meta. And I think if there's going to be a Pantheon left open finally in this tournament, like, maybe it's then. I have no idea. I hope so.
And I think it's going to be really interesting because I think that's the series, to me, that has the most unanswered questions.
Yep.
FunPlus Phoenix came in as my number 2 for this tournament. That is where I power ranked them. SKT 1, FunPlus 2, G2 number 3. And FunPlus had a mediocre showing in an easy group, right? They nearly lost the first seed to Splice, and we know both G2 and Fnatic are far better than Splice. We saw the LEC playoffs. That is a true statement. Does FunPlus Phoenix come back to LPL FPX, where they smashed regular season, won the finals, took the number 1 seed of one of the most competitive regions in the world, or do we have group stage FunPlus, where I think Fnatic smashed them?
How about another question for you? Is the LPL even good? Because
RNG, you get out
of here. God.
Literally jump off this.
All you have right now is a disappointing FunPlus and an IG that is playing nothing like they did in summer. I actually think that if IG played this way in summer, they have a chance to win it all as well. So I think there is a legit, as an LPL fan, I'm just going to put myself out on a limb and say that they have a track record of underperforming on the main stage, but also could be attributed to maybe an inflated performance at times as well, Raz.
I will jump in and say that the team that I expected to do the best out of all the LPL teams was RNG. They were, hey, bring them back. Because they were the most reliable team of what their strategy actually showcased. Fnatic is not reliable. Or FunPlus Phoenix is not necessarily reliable. They haven't shown that in Group B. And then for IG, like, we've just seen them today. So I don't even have to justify that.
I mean, the IG versus Griffin matchup, I know your favorite is on the bottom with FPS for Fnatic. Griffin versus IG, to me, has just as many unanswered questions. Like, is IG actually back to World Championship form? And here's the one. What happens when TheShy plays against Sword?
That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We'll have.
How does Griffin deal with that?
I know what happens.
I don't know. It's going to be exciting, though. We'll have more to say real quick, though. We've got an inside look. We're going to hear from Caps about the draw.
Thank you, guys. Laure here, and joining me right now is Caps. We just had the draw. In my opinion, we had the best scenario possible when it comes to a European perspective, but what do you think?
Well, I mean, we didn't really mind too much what teams we would get up against. Obviously, there's a lot of strong teams. I think it's like a hard draw. Obviously, Damwon is really strong. And I think maybe we'll get Splice, maybe we'll get SKT, but SKT is really strong as well. So it's a hard one, but it's also one I was hoping for because I really wanted to try my luck against Damwon. And also SKT is obviously Faker, and that's going to be fun if we get to play against them.
So tell me about the matchup. What will be your strength against them, if you already thought about it, obviously?
Well, I don't... I mean, we haven't really decided exactly what we want to do yet, but I feel pretty confident going up against them. I think while we didn't have the best last day of Worlds, we are a really strong team, and now that we have a week to prepare for Damwon, I think we're going to come in with a lot of good plans.
Yeah, I was about to say, you didn't leave a good last impression on the last day, so can you make sure that you won't make the same mistakes again, especially in best of 5 series?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously best of 5s are different. You get a week to prepare for them. So we're going to have a lot of preparation only for Damwon, and we don't have to care about other teams to play as well. So I'm pretty confident going in. I think usually we're really good at preparing for teams. We are really good at reading what other teams want to do, and I think Damwon will be no different.
All right, now, for the other LEC teams, Fnatic, their matchup, Splice against SKT, what do you think about this?
So I think SKT is probably looking like one of the stronger teams this tournament. So it's going to be a hard game series for Splice. But I think FPX is probably the weakest Seed 1 team. So I think Fnatic is probably pretty happy with that. But yeah, let's see if we can't see all the EU teams going further and see if we can actually make the same kind of thing happen that happened last year.
I was talking to TheShy before the draw and about the fact that the LCK had 3 first seeds here, unlike the last year where they had an awful year basically. So what is your take on the fact that LCK looks super strong this year?
I think LCK is always like really strong. Obviously they maybe had like an off year last year. Obviously MSI wasn't like that great for them, and same with Worlds. But I think they're back. They are really looking really strong. But at the same time, I also feel pretty confident. I think we, as I mentioned, a team that's really good at preparing for teams, and now that we have a week to prepare for them, I'm sure we can figure out what the Koreans want to do and counter it.
Still the year of EU for you?
Yeah, we're going for the Grand Slam.
Thank you very much, Caps. Good luck on the rest of the championship. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Lo. G2 hoping for the Grand Slam, double LEC titles, MSI champion, looking now at Worlds. Couple of stumbles in the group stage, but I think one of the better tune-up matches they could go for in LCK3. If they do that, I believe they're on the Faker side of the bracket, so then SKT is next.
And Caps knows about how the final 2 days of a group stage don't necessarily make or break your World Championship. He was in the shoes of beating IG twice in a row at the end of a group stage last year, then ended up losing to them in the World Final. So I think they have the right mindset that it was good that they lost in the group stage rather than in the best of 5, and are going to be pretty strong.
And I think kind of the attitude we see out of Caps as, you know, the mid laner of G2 is what a lot of European hopefuls allude to behind the scene. You can see these kind of bouncing, he's bubbly, he's happy with the lineups, he wants to have a swing at the best players. All these guys know that if you're going to win the World Championship, you have to play them eventually if they are that good. So why not get it out of the way when you're nice and rested, you know, just coming off a very successful group stages. I like G2's chances.
And if they do win their quarterfinal matchup, and SKT does the same, just back in May, they beat SKT in the best of 5. So it does look like the ability to win is there. We'll see if they show up on the day. Now, if you missed anything from the last day of groups, be sure to stick around for our rebroadcast starting at 8:30 p.m. CEST, which is 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's all from us here at Worlds. Thank you so much for Berlin for hosting us, and we'll be back next Saturday for the quarterfinals in Madrid. Now, before we go, let's get a look at the big moves of the day presented by Axe.
The 2019 League of Legends World Championship group stage is now complete. Half of the teams that took to this stage have been eliminated, and 8 teams now remain. Damn1 Gaming. Canyon finds TheShy. That's an easy kill. And Canyon's GA gets popped. Barrel goes in with the E. Nuclear sidesteps everything. Damn1 melt Invictus. And it is Fun plus Phoenix.
Looking to try and get in there. We've seen this before. There was Tien early into this pick.
Oh!
Somehow the burst didn't work out, and now the dive bomb comes in. The shotgun into the backline, and there goes LWX.
It is Griffin.
Tarzan would be waiting, and now they're actually going to counter.
There you go. Rakanal now comes in. They're going to kick it right back in the middle of the team. The Kiana can't get anything done.
Look, they're defending the inner tier too.
They're going in. Kiana just going to cut through the entire team.
It is Invictus Gaming.
TheShy on the front line, forcing double lift away, and IG able to survive. Shockwave! Ooh, but the Shockwave finds 3. Invictus Gaming find they fight. They find the Baron. They almost find the ace. Impact tries to flash away, but he is chased down with a killer instinct.
It is Fnatic.
The objective is still alive. Eyes on the Herald, who gets it in the end. SKT, but Fnatic will play defense. We'll try to stop this one away. Edward has now been locked up. And once again, a beautiful Vigar stun. Teddy can't get back in the fight. Have to burn Cleanse to do so.
It is G2 Esports.
And here they go, on to turret number 1. 5v5 to close the game right now. Sneaky out of hell, 2 for 0-3. Already picked up, making a 4th.
SK Telecom T1. Teleport's finally coming in. Faker's going to be joining the fray, so is Khan. Ultimate from Nautilus goes out. Clutch Gaming have got the Baron, but can they get out alive? 1, 2, 3. North Americans are down. SKT only lose 1. It is Splice.
Meganar slowly starting to stack. Gives a minion wave there to if he wants to double jump, he can fish for it. Vizichaki just going to bounce right in. Lands it on 2, and Splice now trying to clear the fight, desperate to get something back. But both the carries, no. One going down, Fofo is dead. It's all eyes on Little B.